Leanne, I'm not hearing you.
Daggone it. I had a really good opening too. I was muted. I apologize. Thanks for letting me know. I just wanted to welcome you guys to Friday. You made it through your very first week, but second week, you made it through 2 weeks. And I'm sure you've had some challenges, but you've done it. And it's Friday and the weekend is here. So congratulations. We're just going to go through a couple of topics this morning and then have time for you guys to ask questions and talk with each other. Sorry, somebody muted me. We sent out information this week about telepractice across state lines. And so it was a chart that you can pull up if you have therapists who are providing services to students who might be staying with relatives across state lines, or maybe they live across state lines and go to school in West Virginia. So that information's there for you. We also sent out the consent form for telepractice. It was just a template. If your county decides to use it, it becomes your form. It's not a WVDE form and it's not mandatory. We were just asked for some templates and some, examples of information that needed to be included, and that's what we sent. We do have an upcoming training, and Libby did these slides for me because I was kind of busy. And I looked over them, but I didn't see this. So Libby, what upcoming training are we talking about here?
The telepracticing training.
Oh, okay, thanks. We have the telepracticing training coming up next Friday. It'll be our September training with Rhea. And Libby and Rhea and Sally and Helen Turner have all worked together to apply to ASHA for CEUs for these trainings. You will get the CEUs at the end of the year. Sorry about that. You will get them at the end of the year, but you will be receiving ASHA CEUs for these.
And Leanne, if I can add, the one for September would not be approved because we have, to turn it into ASHA, so it would start in October. And then they would have to, it could be variable credits. So if they attend October, but they can't November, they would complete an evaluation for each session. And then at the end of the year, we'll give them a certificate representing the amount of sessions they attended.
Thanks so much. And thank you guys. And thank you, Libby, for doing that paperwork for us. We have several trainings that we're talking about. That's the reason I was a little confused there. Sorry about that. We do have our telepracticing teams group. And if you have people who haven't joined it, please encourage them to do it. Rhea is giving us some really great information and tips and apps to use and different things to use. So, if you haven't joined it, please try to join it. We're in the process of trying to get some of the information back there in that team, and Libby's been working hard on that. Libby, is there anything else you wanted to add about the telepracticing teams group?
No, that's it. Just, be sure and add stuff, post questions, and I'm working to re-add the stuff that was lost when the notebook was deleted.
Okay, thanks so much. Let's see. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that everybody remembers that since a lot of people are doing telepractice now, that when you do your Medicaid billing, you need to use the GT modifier after your code for individual group therapy. And just remember that in order to bill Medicaid doesn't mean that that's how small your group has to be, but you can't bill Medicaid for any more than I think it's 5 in a group. So just make sure to remember that. It's fine if you have to have more than 5 in a group, you just won't bill Medicaid for that session. We also sent out the form that we were asked to create. It was a template, again, about how to document COVID-19 recovery services. And these are only the services that are provided outside of the school day. That's the only time this form would be used. If you're doing like additional therapy during the school day or during the school month, then that goes on the IEP itself. So just a reminder that this was also emailed. It's not mandatory, and it's not a WVDE form. If your county determines to use it, then it's a county form. We have started meeting with the new SLP and SLPA group. We had a welcome meeting with them last Friday and gave them some basic information, an overview of how we'll be supporting them, and also went over some policy 2419 with them and the things to be cognizant of as far as 2419 is concerned. We've prepared a webinar about scheduling for them and also documentation, and it's posted within their group for them to watch. And we're going to have a coaching session with them this afternoon at 1, just allowing them to ask questions that they have about documentation, scheduling, or anything else that they've run into this week. We've set up training with Michael Knighton because we did a survey with them to see what they felt like their most immediate needs were. And we knew that you guys were swamped and probably wouldn't have much time to be able to work with them as much as you typically would in a normal year. So that's the reason we're trying to get these trainings done for them as quickly as possible this year. But we've set up the online IEP training because that was their number 3 immediate need in the survey, and that'll be done this next Friday at 9 o'clock. So they will have their 9 o'clock meeting with Michael on online IEP, and then 11 o'clock, if they join the telepracticing group, they'll have that training as well. We are going to be providing some more training for them this month. I think the next need on the schedule on their survey was AAC, how to do that and how to do evaluations. So we'll be going over that with them. But we're also going to be offering monthly coaching sessions for them because we want to be able to support them throughout the year, not just at the beginning here through like 1 or 2 days of webinars. So we scheduled those trainings, those meetings where we'll be available to talk with them for an hour and answer any questions. We might present some information, as we go along there. If we do, and we can determine that that's what we will do, like present half an hour of information and they do questions, then we'll apply for ASHA CEUs for them as well. Just during doing coaching sessions, we really couldn't get that approved. But we'll do that with them every the last Friday of the month, and it'll be opposite of your all's meeting. So if your all's meeting is at 9 o'clock, theirs will be at 1. If yours is at 1, theirs will be at 9 on that last Friday. I did want to get some information from you guys. Is there anything that you usually train them about or want them trained about that you haven't had time to or don't think you'll have time to? If you could either post that in our Teams group, that would be awesome. And then we'll make sure we make those trainings happen for them. Libby has worked hard with the supervising SLP and SLPA groups. And Libby, I'm going to go ahead and let you do this slide for us, please.
Okay, well, we had a training last week on just basically the supervision, and we have the new guidance document, which is posted in the SLPA group and the supervising SLP. They're separate teams, and we went over the guidance document. We went over the new modules that have been developed for them, which are required every year to view. And we basically went through a new application process with them. We're trying to so that everything is in one place. And so we went over how you would submit this. Look, for now it's the supervision plan, which is due September 30th. We gave them a little bit of an extension because of the craziness this year. But there is a process that the SLPA is the one that submits it, even though the supervising SLP helps write it and signs off on it, and the director, special ed director, is involved. That it's going to all be based on the in the SLPA team. The only concern we're having is that we're not seeing a lot of people joining our team, or as many as we know are out there. So please make sure that your SLPAs and your supervising SLPs request to join the team, and we can add that information to the leads team so that you can have that to share with them. But we want to make sure that everybody knows that they're going to be supported, and we're going to have monthly lunch chats with each group separately, because there might be supervising issues that the supervisors want to talk about. This would also be supervisors for clinical fellow years as well. And then there might be questions that the SLPAs have. So we're going to do monthly lunch chats, and one's at noon and one's at 12:30, and they start October 2nd. And they'll be the first Friday of the month. We're trying to get these all together so people can plan. But anyway, if you have anybody who is supervising, or you have an SLPA that's not registered yet, please start them on that process. That's it, Ms. Leanne.
Okay, thanks, Libby. And we will be contacting our certification office to make sure that we have everybody's names. It's just, I think what's happening is the SLPAs that we don't have are probably in counties that don't have lead therapists. And it's just too crazy right now for special ed directors to be able to join our calls. So we'll get that taken care of. But if you have people that aren't registered with us, please help us with that. Okay, we did send out the templates for the evaluation report, teacher report, and parent information I think this past week. They also went to the directors. I always have to send it to them first. So if you have questions, I've gotten one question about making the X's, where you have to X what the purpose of the report is, making that fillable so that you don't have to retype the X and that kind of thing. We'll see what we can do about that. But just post your comments in our group, and we'll try to take care of those for you as we can. Just remember, you can alter that template any way you want. It was just an attempt, to give you an idea of how you could organize it and include all the Medicaid information, all the information you might need for comprehensive evaluation. And you can change the form, not use it. It's just a template that you guys had requested. I just wanted to mention SLP Palooza. I know a lot of you probably already participate in that, but they have a lot of really good information. And they have a presentation a day, and it's usually by someone who's a vendor of some kind, and either Teachers Pay Teachers or a blogger or something like that. But it's free to join. They do record the sessions so you can watch them later. And they typically share a lot of freebies and a lot of good free information with you. So it's you can register at slppalooza.com, and it begins September 28th. And just wanted to mention that to you in case you haven't had time to see your email and see that that's available. We asked for you to provide some information. Libby posted a survey for us in our teams group because we want to celebrate you guys. You guys are doing an amazing job. You are doing, a wonderful job of keeping things calm in your county, of guiding your therapists in your county. And most of you are not being paid. None of you are being paid what you're worth as far as that's concerned. But we wanted to celebrate you and thank you for the job you're doing, and just, let you get to know each other too. It's so hard when we can't have face-to-face meetings. And with that, it makes it difficult. It's hard for me when we're having these meetings to not be able to see your faces, because when I see your faces, I can read whether or not you are understanding what I'm saying, whether you're liking what I'm saying, whether you're upset about what I'm saying. And that's a lot of valuable feedback for me. So, I know you guys don't have a chance to talk with each other like you used to. And that's one thing that you guys really used to like to do. I know that, because you can share ideas and that kind of thing. So just getting you to know each other, and being able to reach out to each other if you have questions. just with the gentle reminder that everybody does things differently, but it's always great to have somebody else to reach out to and somebody to bounce ideas off of. So our first start is Amy Davis, and we asked her to, she's from Pleasants County, and we asked everyone to give us one thing that will help you remember them. And Amy's was that she loves animals, and she has 4 cats. So Amy, thank you for completing that information. And thank you everybody else in advance for, excuse me, completing the information. And we're going to post it in our Teams group. When the survey's finished, we'll just post the Excel spreadsheet so that you'll have access to contact each other. It has your email address and any information you're willing to share. So thank you so much for taking the time to do that. I think it'll be helpful for everyone so to just spend the 2 or 3 minutes to do that. So thanks.
And Leanne, if I could add, we've already got 15 responses, which is great, but I'm noticing some people are not doing the information about how to help us remember them by. And I know you're like, oh, I don't want to talk about myself, but it really does help. So if you have already completed the survey and you didn't do that, contact me or complete it again and I can delete your other survey. But this really is helpful. I mean, when I see Amy now, I'm going to think cats, and that's going to help me remember her. As we get a little older, we need to have these kind of associations. So please, I know that seems silly, but it really does help as far as us getting to know each other when we can't do it face to face.
Thanks, Libby. And I tell you, it really helped me. We did that at our first couple of meetings because that we ever had with the leads. And I kept thinking the whole time, even though I was smiling, I kept thinking, how am I ever going to remember all these people and the counties they're in and their names? But I have. And that really did help me. So, and I think it helps too, just to, see that we're all people. We all have different interests and we have a life outside of speech and outside of school. So Amy just put a comment in that she is the only therapist in Pleasants County right now. So Amy, we definitely are going to celebrate you because you're doing that county by yourself. Debbie Page in Monroe County is the only in-person therapist in Monroe County as well. So you guys might want to hook up and talk to each other and, kind of give each other some ideas of how you're handling things in your counties alone. And I think Helen might be the only therapist in her county as well. So anyway, thank you so much for what you're doing, Amy, and everybody for what you're doing. And this is, I guess, Libby's provided the QR code, so you can go ahead and do the survey there. And now we have time for your all's questions. I'm going to stop presenting and just let you guys, you can open your mics. Libby, do we have any comments that I've missed so far that we can answer first, and then we'll open mics?
Nope, I don't see any.
Okay. Okay, so let's see. If you just want to open your mic and ask a question, or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you're welcome to post it in the comments. But this is your time to talk with your colleagues and share you can share, you don't even have to be, it doesn't have to be a question. It can just be something you're going through right now, or something that's concerning you, or anything that you want to share. Okay, I see a couple of hands up. So, and I swear I'm only on one screen right now, so I can't really see. I see Sarah has her hand up. I see one. So Sarah, if you want to unmute and do that and tell us.
Hi. How are you guys?
Sarah. Great. How are you?
We're hanging in there. I just had a question. Where can we find the ICD codes for teletherapy? I didn't look really hard, but I didn't find them the other day when I was looking.
I think you use the regular ICD-10 codes, but then you just use the GT modifier. Let me check on that. I'll ask Kelly. Or,
okay.
I will ask about that. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that there were separate codes, but I will definitely get that taken care of today if at all possible.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much. Thank you. Okay, there was another hand up, Libby. Can you see who that is?
Um,
See if I can do it.
it's Karen Underwood.
Okay, hey, Karen.
Oh, sorry. I guess I hit my camera when I hit my hand.
You're up.
Just wanted to say good morning. And I was one of those great people who did not put information in my survey. So if you'll delete it, I will do it again.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
It's a true confession, right? Okay, that's Sarah and Karen, and then we have a couple questions in the chat box.
Okay.
Leah had asked about making a folder where people can share information on how counties are doing screenings. I will certainly be happy to do that. And Paula wants to know whether anyone has a good screener, maybe a parent interview for kids who are doing virtual. Anybody have any ideas? Or Paula, do you want to add anything else to that?
Basically, I'm just, we have to screen those kids that are doing virtual. And I know it's going to be hard to do, the screening that I would use for my in-person kids. We were thinking of using more of a parent interview. And then when they come back to school, automatically placing them on a recheck for whenever they do come back to school. I just wondered if anybody had a good, or what people are planning to do for their virtual kids.
I believe there's a limited number on the chat or on the group here, so just feel free to answer by unmuting your mic.
One thing I could say has anyone started the drive-up speech screenings? I see that's posted. Is anyone doing that?
This is Angie from Lincoln County. We are discussing doing the drive-up speech screenings, the drive-through speech screenings, especially for our virtual pre-Kers and the kindergarten screenings that we didn't get, kindergarten speech screenings that we did not get to spring.
Well, I think that's a great idea. That's a really great idea. I hadn't even thought about drive-up ones, really. We've been bombarded with questions lately, but that's a great idea to do that.
We were discussing, we thought we would have somebody taking the temperature at the car before they came to us, and then have one speech therapist taking information down, and the other was kind of going through the screening, because they're not getting out of the car and coming to us, and doing it that way. It's just getting the logistics set up in the county as to where we were going to do it in one location, or try and move it to several schools, do it at different days at
different locations. Schools. Are you setting up appointments to do that, or are they just driving up like you would for COVID testing?
We thought that we might do it. The discussion was to say like A through L would come from 1 to 2, for example, and M through Z would come from 3 to 4, something like that. Set the times that way. That was our first discussion. Yeah. It's just getting all the logistics together and with all of this other stuff that's going on. It's kind of chasing your tail right now.
Oh, I'm sure. But Gabby, I see that you did drive-up speech and hearing screenings for pre-K in Wetzel County. How did that work?
It went really, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, it went really well. They didn't have a scheduled time, but the pre-K teachers just gave them a time to come. So they would drive up in their car, and the pre-K teacher would meet them at the car. And they actually got the student out of the car and brought them to our station. And then we screened their speech and then their hearing, both. So, but it went really well.
Great. That's great to hear. And I see that Heather has put on here that they have kids coming in for dibbles. So as those kids come in for dibbles, they're trying to grab them then. Otherwise, they're using Schoology conferences or Microsoft Teams to do their screening. And as far as the screening instrument, Paula, there's not a mandated screener that's out there. So you can make your screening whatever it needs to be, especially to fit the times now. So doing the screening the way you were talking about, like the parent interview and that kind of thing, and if you could even ask the student to repeat some sentences, to listen for sounds or something like that, just so you could get an idea, that would kind of weed out the ones that you don't really need to contact when they do come back in person, so you're not having to do a full screening with everybody. Since, especially for students who don't have any concerns. So any other questions or suggestions about doing the screenings? I did get a question by phone just a second ago, by text, about having to have permission to do the screenings if you do it through teletherapy. And you should have advertised your screening just like you always do. So as you don't have to have written permission from the therapist, from the parent, to be able to do that. And actually, since they are participating by allowing you to do the screening virtually, then that's kind of their permission. So that's not a consideration that you need to worry about. Anything else? Any other topics? This is great. I think you guys are helping each other, and you're definitely helping me. I think the collaboration between the professionals in your school is the main thing. I think that, it's brilliant to try to grab students that come in for dibbles testing, or, collaborate with the nurses to attach to any screenings they might be doing and that kind of thing. So, be sure and reach out, and don't think that, everything has to be speech screening isolated like you've always done it, because, that's the way it's worked out. But now this collaborative piece where you're trying to get the students and get as many things done with them while you have them as possible, I think that's the great way to go. Well, I don't want to keep you guys on here because I know you have tons of things to do. Our next meeting will be, I think, October 4th. It's the first Friday of the month, and we can discuss then whether you need an interim meeting like we did today. But just having this time to talk to each other and go over some things, I think, is always really important. So thanks for being on here this morning. Thanks for your time and your ideas, and for cooperation and participation in everything that you're doing. You guys have done a phenomenal job. I mean, while I've been getting bombarded with emails and calls and that kind of thing, that's expected. That happens every time at the beginning of the year, and that's my job. But you guys have done an amazing job, because the number of questions and things I thought I was going to be getting once school started has been greatly reduced, and a lot of that is because of you guys and the guidance that you've been provided by your special ed directors, and you're following that, and you're trickling it down to your therapists, and you're putting them at ease, because I can only imagine the anxiety levels, in the counties right now, with all the new things that are happening and everything that's so outside of our normal routine. But you guys are amazing. I knew we could do it. I knew you could do it. And I know your therapist can do it too. So any support that we can provide, please let us know. Libby said that she would create the folder that Lee talked about, and that'll just be stored in your Teams group as well. But that's a great idea, because as you guys learn from this process this year too, you'll be better prepared for next year, because I think this is probably going to be something that's going to be happening from now on. I think that since virtual learning has been offered to students since, I think, 2017, once, people try it, and, if children are successful with it and it meets their needs, it may continue from now on. So you're going to probably have some virtual students on your caseload from now on. So anything you can do and anything you can learn and share with each other this year about the things that worked and didn't is going to only make things better for next year. Have a great week. Take time off this weekend. Don't worry about school. Take time with your family and yourself. and come back, ready to roll on Monday. Thank you guys for the job you're doing. I appreciate you and understand what you're doing and how much you're doing, and can't thank you enough. Take care and have a great weekend.